Want, want to sell dupes on Amazon? Here's how to do it without breaking the law. I'm Josh Hackett, CEO of EHP Consulting Group. Let's dive in. So number one is to see what kind of intellectual property they actually own and see if you can get around it. Simple as it is, if they don't have any intellectual property, you can pretty much redupe it and get away with a lot, just with a minor change. But for example, here's a sewing animal kit. I'm gonna give you a couple examples, and then you can see a lot of these are very similar. Like this one looks almost exactly the same as this one. And that's because DIY kits, do-it-yourself kits, are easy to make dupes of because you're not selling the actual product, you're selling how to make a finalized product. So that's another loophole. So even if you ask ChatGPT, hey, we're selling a DIY sewing kit where I teach people how to make a finalized version of Santa, you're not actually selling Pikachu or Santa, right? You're selling a how to make a finalized version. And that has a copyright loophole a lot of the times where all you have to do is just change one thing or change a couple methods and then you can get around it because you're not selling, again, the final product, you're selling how to make a final product. So again, DIY kits are one of the easiest things you can dupe and get around. Now we're talking about another example, which is One Piece. And One Piece is like a famous anime show. I haven't watched it, but it's got nearly 72 million views. My friends watch it, so I've heard of it. I understand it a little bit. But here's an example of Bandai. They're selling this One Piece ship. You can see it's based off of the anime, and it's a really high quality ship, right? They've got 400 sales in the past month. Now I saw this one. They have like a little, it's similar to Lego, but it's not Lego. And they made their own ship, right? And they're making 100 sales in the past month. And they're selling it for an extremely high price. Now, this is a ripoff of One Piece. And they've got 200 reviews. They've been on Amazon for a while. And the reason why they're not getting kicked off is, again, this is another DIY kit. It's a do-it-yourself. They're not selling the final product. They're selling how to make the final product, and they're making it a little bit different. So that way One Piece, Bandai, whoever owns One Piece, isn't able to actually kick them off. And this is another way to get around the dupe. So if you wanted to sell something like this, just think DIY kit, how to build a One Piece ship, right? You can't actually put One Piece in your title since that one's trademarked. But you can run ads towards One Piece and you can make it look like the One Piece ship, and you can see a lot of the customers love it, right? And it has the One Piece symbols at the end, and yeah, so that's another example. Now our final example, so you can understand exactly how to get around patents and copyright and DIYs, kits, all that fun stuff, is an example of our clients. You can see one of our clients, they sell, it's a little clip, it stops headaches, right? And it's doing really, really good on Amazon, and they have a design patent. So you're like, oh, they have a design patent, I can't compete with them. You're wrong. It's very easy to get around a design patent, right? So if you type in headache clip, which is this, put a clip on your hand, it helps you stop your headaches. It's a headache clip, right? And even though they have a design patent that looks like this, you can see there's a lot of competitors that are ripping them off. So you can type in headache clip, and now you can see these guys are ripping them off. They're ripping them off. This one looks like a thumb, so it looks a little bit different. But a lot of these, not all of them, like this one should get kicked off because it looks just like the patent. But some of them, this is a little bit different than the patent. This is enough to get around the patent, the design patent, right? This one looks like a thumb. Even though it does the exact same thing, that's enough to get around the patent. So it's very easy to get around copyright, trademarks, design patents. The only thing that's difficult to get around would be utility patents, right? You can see this is a design patent because it has the letter D in it. If it has the letter D in it, it is, see, US D, and it has US and then it has the D right there. That means it's a design patent. and design patents are very easy to get around. The ones that are hard to get around, and the only thing is going to be a utility patent. So for example, if we type in Hickaway, this is a straw that stops hiccups, right? They have a utility patent. So if you try to make any type of straw that you suck water in and it stops hiccups, it can look like anything, then that's violating their utility patent. So utility patents are more difficult, but a lot of people don't have utility patents. Usually they just have that. So pretty much to sum it up, number one is to find out if they have intellectual property. If they don't have any patents, they don't have design patents, utility patents, trademarks, copyright, then it's pretty much free game. It's going to be pretty, you just need to make a tiny change and you can get around all of their intellectual property. Now you can also use ChatGPT and say, hey, I found out they have a utility patent. Send ChatGPT their utility patent, ask them how to get around it. If ChatGPT isn't of any help, you can also speak to an attorney, and you can find cheap attorneys on Fiverr.com. And then finalize your launching a new product. Now, remember, you can get around pretty much any intellectual property with time, thought, and an intellectual property expert. Even if they say, hey, you can't get around this, that's a terrible lawyer. If they say you can't get around this, right? Because you can. The hardest part is just utility patents. Those ones are the hardest to get around, in my professional opinion. But that's it for today's video. Leave a comment below on a brand that is making tons of sales and has no competitors that maybe you can do a DIY kit or get around. Maybe it's a Stanley Cup, maybe it's something different. And if you learn something new, drop a like. If you're an Amazon seller, I highly recommend subscribing to our channel because we're giving away great content that's going to help you in your Amazon journey. And of course, if you need help with increasing sales, anything mentioned in this video, or just help selling on Amazon, contact EHP Consulting Group. The link is right in the description to contact us or schedule a call. Also, our number one service is our full A to Z Amazon account management service. This is where we fully manage your inventory, calling Amazon, customer service, advertising, increasing sales, launching products for you, and much, much more. The benefit of this service is so you can spend time working on your business instead of in your business every day, like calling Amazon, doing patent searches, and all that fun stuff. Let us do it all for you. Save time, save money, and increase your sales with ehpconsultinggroup.com. I'm Josh Hackett, CEO of EHP Consulting Group, and I'm signing out.